Clinton with a 9-point lead over Donald Trump. That means each candidate has a different agenda as America and the world tunes in. Let's get right to our senior political correspondent, Brianna Keilar. She's following the Clinton campaign. Our senior White House correspondent, Jim Acosta, has been following the Trump campaign. John King, our chief national correspondent, the anchor of CNN's Inside Politics, is here with us as well. Brianna, Hillary Clinton, she's been in debate probe now for several days. Are we expecting a new strategy? What are you hearing tonight?
I think they're pretty comfortable with their strategy, which has been days of preparation. We've seen that again. She has been laying low and allowing some of her very popular surrogates, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, do a lot of the campaigning. And, for whatever criticism she may have taken in the first debate that she may have seemed robotic or over-prepared, she thinks, I'm told, making the case that, look, this is just a sign that I'm taking this seriously. And also her campaign is looking at the fact that they think she did pretty well. So we see the polls. She's doing better in the polls. They're attributing some of that to her debate preparation. Certainly some of that has to do with the Access Hollywood tape and also these accusers coming out against Donald Trump. But they feel like they're on the right track, so they're not really going to be changing that up. Another thing I think we'll see is her addressing this issue of the rigged election that Donald Trump is talking about. I think she's going to try to cast him as a loser who's complaining, who's sour grapes, and then also dealing, of course, with the WikiLeaks emails from her campaign chair, John Podesta. We've heard from so many surrogates. We've heard from the campaign. They're sort of saying, if these are even real. So I think she's going to try to pivot to Russia and try to link Donald Trump to Russia. Obviously, the U.S. thinks that Russia has to do with those leaks.
And we're going to speak to John Podesta momentarily about that and a lot more. Jim Acosta, Donald Trump. Yep. This is Las Vegas. Is he going to gamble tonight? Are we going to see a new strategy from him tonight as opposed to the first two debates?
I think it's safe to say he's running low on chips, Wolf. He needs a good night tonight. And what we've seen over the last several days, I think, is a preview of coming attractions. We're going to see Donald Trump take on a very aggressive tone. I think that's very clear in the debate guests that he's bringing tonight. Pat Smith, the Benghazi mother, Malik, President Obama's half-brother. Those are aggressive moves, obviously, by the Trump campaign to try to get inside the heads of the Clinton campaign. But, Donald Trump is prepared differently for tonight's debate. He actually used Reince Priebus sort of acting like a moderator in prep sessions. Chris Christie was sort of playing the role of Hillary Clinton. When Reince Priebus would ask a question, Chris Christie was providing the pushback in those debate prep sessions. So Donald Trump prepared differently for tonight because he knows he needs a big night. And as Brianna was saying, this whole notion of a rigged election and drain the swamp, Donald Trump has taken on a very anti-Washington, anti-establishment tone in the last few days. The rigged election line really revs up his supporters, and this notion of draining the swamp, that's a message that can still get Republicans who are just hanging on in their support for Donald Trump to stand with him. They want to keep the bottom from falling out tonight, Wolf, in addition to looking for Hillary Clinton to have some sort of a big mistake or bad night. I think that is what Donald Trump is looking for tonight.
John King, you have a new look at the road to 270 electoral college votes that you need in order to be elected president of the United States.
And Wolf, if you look at this, Jim talking about Trump being Trump, if you look at this, Trump's coming in with this strategy. Trump may not change. Trump may be shoring up his Republican base, but it is not working when you get to the business of 270 electoral votes. Let's look at this here. Our new map has Secretary Clinton at 307 and Donald Trump slipping to 179. It takes 270 to win. On the morning of the first debate, she was at 272 and Trump was at 196, but Trump was moving. Trump was tighter ahead in Nevada. Trump was tighter ahead in Florida. He was tighter ahead in North Carolina. He was tighter ahead in Ohio. He was in play to get into the 260s and make a play for this race. If you look at this now, we have taken Utah and Arizona, turned them from red states into toss-up states because the polling in those states suggests they're in play. A third-party conservative candidate may win Utah. Hillary Clinton now leads in Arizona. We've leaned this state, Nevada, was a toss-up in the first debate. It's now leaning Democratic. North Carolina, now leans Democratic. North Carolina still a toss-up, although the latest polls there show Clinton slightly ahead. She is on track, Wolf, right now as we head into the third debate to match or exceed the 332 that President Obama received in his overwhelming win against Mitt Romney. To close with this, the map state by state is overwhelming, but think about what you said at the top of the show. A 9-point national lead. That is unheard of in recent American polarized presidential politics. The Obama-Romney race on this day, the day of the third debate, tied. tight. A 9-point national lead is remarkable in this political environment we've lived in the last 20 years.
All right, John, thanks very much. John, Jim, and Brianna. Hillary Clinton heads into tonight's debate, leading both, once again, nationally as well as in key battleground states. So what is her strategy, and what are her biggest concerns going into this important debate? I want to bring in Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta. John, thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be with you, Rob.
So she's been doing debate the debate prep mode now for several days. There's talk that Donald Trump may engage in a new strategy, more scorched earth strategy, leveling charges against her. I assume she's been practicing getting ready for that.
Well, look, she does practice for these debates because she takes them very seriously. It's an opportunity to talk to millions of the American people. And it's worked for her. She's that lead that John talked about is really opened up as a result of the debate performances and Donald Trump's faltering debate performances in the first debate, and then I think she won the second debate. So I think that he can decide to go scorched earth, but that isn't working for him. I think maybe it solidifies his base, fires up his most ardent supporters. But when it comes to undecideds, people who are trying to make up their mind, they've been moving towards her. Her approval ratings are going up, his continue to go down. So I think it's a bad strategy for him, but we fully expect that he may try it tonight.
She still has problems with the question of honesty and trustworthiness. Ed Rendell, the former Pennsylvania governor, he had some advice for her. Listen to what he says.
I think it's also important for Hillary Clinton to be presidential, to hang in there, even if he does get personal, but not to be smug or self-confident or overconfident, because elections can turn.
If you couldn't hear it because there's a crowd behind us, he advised her not to be smug or self-confident or overconfident, if you will, because elections can turn. Still almost 3 weeks to go.
There's no one in the Clinton campaign who's overconfident. We're working every day. We built a tremendous organization on the ground in contradiction to what Trump has tried to do. She is coming in here to, again, talk to the American people, to take on the challenge that, and in anything that Trump will throw at her. But we need to use these last 3 weeks to seal the deal, as it were, to get our vote out, to make sure that people understand that she wants to build an economy that's going to work for everyone, not just people at the top. That's what she's going to be prosecuting tonight. And I think, she's a
pollster herself, the campaign manager for Donald Trump. She said, though, Hillary Clinton should be further ahead right now. Listen to what she said last night on CNN.
For Hillary Clinton, she's got the current president, a past president she happens to be married to. She's a very popular first lady, more popular than Hillary Clinton will ever be, and Michelle Obama. She's got the vice president. She has endless amounts of money. And as I tried to say to you last week on your show, Anderson, why can't she get to 50% and stay there anywhere? And that's an important question in answering yours, because she's like the 46% gal. She's nowhere near the margins that President Obama got twice in states where we're competitive.
What's your response?
Well, look, as John noted, we have a 9-point lead in the poll of polls. It is a four-way race. We're trying to talk to people who are thinking about voting for the third and fourth party candidates, Gary Johnson, and the Green Party, Jill Stein, and say that this really is a binary choice. It's Hillary Clinton or it's Donald Trump. And we think that if you look at issues like climate change, like building a strong economy, like creating equal pay for equal work, that Hillary's the right choice. But she's sitting with a 9-point deficit, which is unprecedented in modern political history. So I think she ought to be given more advice to her candidate rather than to ours.
One of the people that Donald Trump has invited to be one of his special guests tonight, Patricia Smith, mother of one of the Benghazi victims, Sean Smith, she blames Hillary Clinton for her son's death. Presumably, Donald Trump's going to bring this up tonight. How is Hillary Clinton going to respond?
Well, look, this is a tragedy, and she, of course, tragically lost her son in Benghazi, and we honor the 4 people who died there. But Hillary spent the time subsequent to that, when she was Secretary of State, to trying to beef up and ensure that we have diplomatic security at all our outposts. These are dangerous places. But, there have been 9 investigations of this, and all of them have concluded that Hillary was not responsible, did nothing wrong. The Republicans tried to make this a major issue on Capitol Hill. They couldn't do it. She faced 11 hours of testimony.
He's going to want her to apologize to Patricia Smith.
The battle against terrorism and the battle for more freedom. But I think that with respect to this particular case, I think Hillary's track record here has been one of trying to use this occasion to improve security and to try to move forward. And as I said, 9 investigations have found that she has operated with the information she had and acted appropriately.
Another invited guest by Donald Trump, President Obama's Kenyan-born half-brother Malik Obama. Steve Bannon, the campaign chair, he told our Brooke Baldwin, that's just an appetizer. His words, just an appetizer. Are you worried about other surprises that may be in store for tonight?
Oh, look, these guys can. There's no depth to which they can go. And, Bannon has probably made things worse, but his whole crew and cast of characters there, Dave Bossy, Bannon, etc., I'm sure they're encouraging more antics like we saw in the second debate from Donald Trump. But look, I think that we're ready for anything, and again, I think this is a strategy that's driving Trump down and has produced that lead.
All right.
So, whatever they're going to do, as Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high.
Very quickly, the New York Times reporting your campaign asked for a change in protocol so the 2 candidates at the top of the debate wouldn't have to shake hands, and that Bill Clinton wouldn't have to shake hands with Melania Trump or other members of the Trump family. Is that true?
Well, look, we would like the appropriate courtesies of normal debates, but what you saw in the second debate in St. Louis was that they don't recognize those normal courtesies. The debate commission
did you ask for a change in protocol so there wouldn't be an opportunity to shake hands?
I think we'll see what we get tonight. She didn't shake his hand at the beginning and she did at the end. So,
but did you ask for a change in protocol so there wouldn't even be an opportunity to shake hands?
What we want is a debate conducted with decorum. We'll see whether we get it tonight.
So you don't want to answer that question?
We'll see what happens tonight.
Let's talk about the emails, the stolen emails from your account. WikiLeaks has stolen thousands of these emails every day, including today. Thousands are being released. How concerned are you that your email account was hacked, if you will?
Well, look,
this was a Gmail account that you had, right?
Look, I think it should be of concern to every American that as the U.S. government, our intelligence sources, the Department of Homeland Security have indicated, these hacks are coming from Russian sources. They're in cahoots with people like Guccifer 2.0, WikiLeaks putting this out.
But do you believe the Russian government hacked your email?
Yes, that's what I believe, and I think we have been informed by law enforcement sources that they're conducting this investigation as part of the broader investigation, that they've just taken the unprecedented step of the Director of National Intelligence and the Director of Homeland Security have said are at their root Russian hacks. So,
all the transcripts
is acting as a, and look, if this was about transparency, they put them all out. So they're dribbling them out because they want because the Russians are intervening in this election on behalf of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has been someone who has basically taken every position that Vladimir Putin has, as opposed to the bipartisan group of on both sides of the aisle, of people who have thought what's in the issues of the United States.
Have you seen any evidence?
Marco Rubio even this morning said that he wouldn't condone it, participate in it, because he knows what's up. This is the Russians trying to interfere in our election.
Have any of the emails or transcripts that have been released been doctored, or are they accurate?
Well, I'm only going to say this, Ruth. When this first came out, it came out with a lie from Julian Assange, which was that, when he first released these, that I was a co-owner of the Podesta Group, which is factually completely untrue. So, what is false, what is accurate, we're not going to get into.
Are the transcripts of the speeches before Goldman Sachs, are they accurate?
Look, I think what I would say to that, Wolf, is we're not going to get into that, but what I would say is that she has said to people on Wall Street before the 2008 election, during the crisis, and during these speeches, that they need to be held accountable. They cannot be allowed to let Wall Street wreck Main Street again. She's put out the most aggressive Wall Street plan of any candidate. What does Donald Trump want to do? Repeal Dodd-Frank. she's been forward-leaning and saying that she will regulate and be tough on Wall Street. And
but she says, according to these transcripts, you need one position in public for the American people, but you need another private position.
No, I think that in the context of this, what she has said to them was they were playing with fire in the mortgage market with the credit default swaps, that they should get a fairer tax code by eliciting getting rid of carried interest, that Dodd-Frank was going to be enforced, and that she's gone further than that in this campaign. So I think she's been, even though she represented New York, she's been tough on Wall Street. She'll continue to be tough on Wall Street, and I think that's what her speeches have indicated. And if you look at the commentary, people are kind of surprised when they look at the whole basket to find that the reformers are kind of pleased and the people on Wall Street are kind of nervous.
In one of the emails,
reason for that. It's because she's going to be tough on Wall Street.
I know you got to run, but very, very, very quickly, in one of the emails you called Bernie Sanders a doofus. Did you?
Well, I have great respect for Bernie Sanders. There was a moment where he opposed the Paris deal where, without confirming the accuracy of the email, I was frustrated with him, but he and I have a very good relationship, a lot of rapport. I've worked for Pat Leahy, the other senator from Vermont, and I've had a very good relationship with Senator Sanders, and I have a great affection for him, but I do think when he criticized the Paris Agreement, I didn't think he was taking the right position. I'm very proud of President Obama for delivering such an important climate agreement.
I'll take that as a yes.
I'll take that as a statement that I have great admiration for Senator Sanders.
Some of the other words you use to characterize others.
There are even members of the CNN.
I know, we know.
Who might read some of, you say things.
Got to be careful with your
say
emails,
things
right?
in private
Right.
that you regret, but I have great affection and great admiration for Senator Sanders.
All right, thanks very much for joining us. John Podesta, the campaign chair for Hillary Clinton. Coming up, traditional Republican states like Arizona and Utah now apparently up for grabs for the Clinton campaign. A Trump senior advisor, the Arizona Republican Party chair, standing by to join us live. We're going to talk about how his candidate plans to hold on to those states. We're live here from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the site of the final presidential debate.
This is it. Round 3.
My argument is not with his supporters, it's with him.
When Bernie Sanders said she had bad judgment, she has really bad judgment.
It all comes down to this.
He wants to talk about what we've been doing the last 30 years. Bring it on.
The election of Hillary Clinton would lead to the destruction of our country.
Clinton, Trump, the final debate today. Live coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern on CNN.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh?
Yep, per second.
This is the new 2017 Sierra Denali from GMC. This
includes Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, and it may save you money in so many ways. It's all in this book, and it's yours free just for calling. You'll see all the ways the plan might save you money, even on prescription drugs. In fact, Humana Medicare Advantage members can expect to save almost $500 in premium this year through our pharmacy benefit management efforts. And you get all this coverage with an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. Even if you've looked at Humana before, you need to take another look at this plan. We'll send you the decision guide absolutely free, in a slightly smaller size, of course. Discover the all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan that could cut your costs and cover your prescriptions. Call 1-800-372-2119 or go to humanabigbook.com. The savings are too big to miss.
Are you missing out on life because you're putting off neck or back surgery? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery, to learn how a less than 1-inch incision can have you up and walking within a few hours of surgery, free from chronic back pain, and with no hospital stay and no lengthy recovery. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, bulging or herniated disc, sciatica, or other chronic conditions, call today for your no-cost MRI review.
When you're in that much pain and you live on painkillers, you really don't have quality of life.
I feel like Laser Spine Institute was an answer to prayer. It's just the heavens had opened up, and it was like, I can live again.
If you've been told you might need neck or back surgery, call 1-800-216-BACK now for your no-cost MRI review.
Laser Spine Institute, a less than 1-inch incision, a lifetime of standing tall.
This is your moment. Start looking and feeling great right now.
No fads, no gimmicks. It's safe, effective weight loss. Lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's all-new Turbo 10. Lose up to 10 pounds fast.
You'll love it. Guaranteed.
Call now to order your 28-day plan, and we'll rush you the all-new Turbo 10 with 1 week of our all-new Turbo Shakes free. It's designed to help reduce belly bloat. It's that uncomfortable, full feeling that causes your abdomen to swell and distend. The free Turbo Shakes are specially formulated with 22 vitamins and minerals and packed with Protein Plus probiotics to support digestive health, boost immunity, and help bust that belly bloat.
My belly, it's flatter now than when I was in my 20s.
Call in the next 2 minutes, and we'll throw in FedEx shipping absolutely free. Try us for 2 weeks. If you don't love your results, we'll give you your money back, guaranteed.
Call 877-542-THIN right now and get Turbo 10 with Shakes free.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
If the polls are any indication, Trump is entering tonight's debate in the weakest position he's been in the entire campaign. Not only is he trailing Hillary Clinton in the national polls, but also in states that have been reliably Republican in years past. Our newly updated battleground map, for example, showing states like Utah and Arizona now toss-ups. The latest poll, in fact, from the Arizona Republic and others, showing Hillary Clinton up now over Trump in Arizona by 5 points with only 20 days left until the election. Joining us now is Robert Graham. He's an advisor to the Trump campaign and the Arizona Republican Party chairman. Robert, thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be here. Thanks.
What's going on in Arizona?
Well, we're working hard. I mean, I think we look at the polls and we take all elections serious, but at this particular point, I think they're not consistent with what's really happening on the ground in Arizona.
Right. So these polls you don't think are reliable?
No, I don't. I mean, when we look at what's happening in Arizona, really 3 key points is you have Arizona has a massive Republican voter advantage. We have 175,000 more Republicans registered, active Republicans. We've got 21 field offices. We've got over 12,000 volunteers that are in that. We can't even deploy them fast enough, not to mention the millions of calls and doors that we're knocking on. So we've really mobilized a force, and that's when you engage the voters in that way, that's when it becomes a meaningful outcome for any candidate, and we're not seeing that on Hillary.
So what does it say that your senior senator, John McCain, who himself is up for re-election, he seems to be doing well in the polls. He has certainly not been out there campaigning for Donald Trump in Arizona.
Yeah, I think what happens is the calculus is different. I mean, you've got a senator that represents everybody in the state of Arizona as it relates to Republicans, Democrats, and independents, and he's well liked. He blew his competition.
But does that hurt Trump that he's not helping him in Arizona?
No, I think people. John McCain has always been John McCain, and John McCain's always taken his own personal positions. I think right now what you're seeing is, again, a momentum shift, really strong behind Trump in our state, even though the polls may suggest opposite. But McCain's doing his thing, and us as a Republican Party, my job description is solely to get all Republicans elected, including McCain and Donald Trump.
What do you expect from Trump tonight? It's really his last major chance to address tens of millions of Americans.
Yeah, I think he's going to lean into this one, I think, in a very aggressive way. One of the things you hear from Donald Trump when you work through his real message is jobs, opportunity, and safety for everybody. And when you're in a state like Arizona where we have a high